Another day, another possible piece of the obstruction of justice case against President Donald Trump. CNN is now reporting that when Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein went to the White House a couple of months ago, in December, about a month and a half ago, Donald Trump wanted to know from Rod Rosenstein, number one, where is the Trump-Russia investigation going, which is already a totally inappropriate question. But more shockingly, Trump wanted to know whether the Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein was, quote, on my team, referring to on Trump's side, I guess, which reflects so poorly on Trump's understanding of how the Justice Department and FBI are supposed to be independent entities able to carry out investigations unencumbered in order for them to be credible. Trump says he's about law and order and the rule of law, yet he has total disregard for how this is all supposed to be carried out. And the report says that Rosenstein responded to Trump, of course, we're all on your team, Mr. President, which is actually a pretty slick response because Trump probably hears Rod Rosenstein say that and he thinks, oh, Rod Rosenstein is telling me you're safe. More than likely, and we're kind of guessing here, if Rod Rosenstein says, of course, Mr. Trump, we're all on your team, he probably means we're all part of the Justice Department that operates under the guy you appointed, Jeff Sessions, right? I don't think.
Yeah, you're all on the country's team.
You're
really.
or on the country's team, sure, certainly. So this is the latest in a long and growing list of obstruction-like behavior by Donald Trump. He fired James Comey to try to stop the Russia investigation. He tried to push out Attorney General Jeff Sessions for recusing himself on Russia-related matters. Didn't work. He tried to pressure Jeff Sessions to fire Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, who ultimately did resign. He ordered the firing of Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller, which didn't happen. And we also learned in the last 24 hours that Donald Trump is thinking of trying to prosecute Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller to stop the Trump-Russia investigation. It's just not how innocent people behave. I don't know what else to say or how many times to repeat it. This is not how an innocent person behaves.
And this is quite literally another loyalty pledge. He did the same thing to James Comey, and of course,
That's right.
Comey refused to do it.
What did Comey, do we remember the details of that when he asked
He
Comey?
said he would pledge his loyalty to the FBI or, something more vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe he asked the same thing of Jeff Sessions, too. Sessions probably wouldn't recall. But
yes, of course, Sessions. That's just not something Sessions would be able to remember. I kept reading further and further into this CNN report, and there's another stunning little nugget from it, which is that sources say Trump believes Rosenstein was upset that Robert Mueller wasn't selected to be the FBI director, and responded by saying, if you're not going to make Mueller the FBI director, I'm going to make him special counsel, which is truly a type of paranoia that should concern all of us, regardless of party, when we see it in the president of the United States. And it's consistent with narcissistic personality disorder. Lack of trust, like an unending lack of trust, is a common characteristic of real bona fide narcissists, which Donald Trump does appear to be. But the broader question is, how many instances of the same pattern do we need before the country and Republican lawmakers will not only see it for what it is, but admit that, hey, this is bad and it's bad for the country? Forget about the committed Trumpist voter, right? They're basically a lost cause. We figured that out. But the pattern of obstruction is so clear that it must at some point get to where most of the country and lawmakers say no more, right? Like at a certain point, if there's no such awakening, it'll confirm that Republican lawmakers must see it, but they just don't care. And I would argue that's worse than actually being blind to it.
Yeah, and it's a complete disregard for the separation of powers, for the independent judiciary. I know that he nominated Chris Wray to be FBI director. I don't think Chris Wray would give him a loyalty pledge either, but he's demanding it, it seems. He demanded it from Rod Rosenstein.
Do you think Wray has been sufficiently independent so far? I mean, I think he has.
Yeah,
I think
so.
that he generally has been. It's absolutely stunning, and I don't know what the depths of it are. I don't really know when it will end, but it is at this point, we don't know until there are actual charges against who knows who. We can't say with any certainty that X crime or Y crime was committed. So when I talk about obstruction of justice, I'm really using the sort of colloquial understanding of it. There's no question that Donald Trump has made half a dozen moves that we know about, and who knows how many that we just haven't found out about yet, with the goal of getting in the way of the Trump-Russia investigation. Whether you want to call it criminal obstruction of justice, I'm not getting to that. There are people who are going to figure that out if they're allowed to, Robert Mueller being one of those people. But there's no question that every intention, every move, the intention of each of these moves has been to prevent a full and complete investigation into what took place. And we should all be very, very worried about that. Send me your thoughts. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman, and the show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. The David Pakman Show today is partially sponsored by Brilliant, which is a great online service that allows you to master interesting concepts in math, science, and engineering by solving fun and challenging problems. And unlike other learning sites, when I'm using Brilliant, I'm actually learning by working hands-on with real-world scenarios and problems. You solve challenging puzzles that have been carefully designed by expert educators and professionals from all over the world. They don't go too fast. They don't go too slow. They take you step by step through the topics that you're interested in at your own pace. One of the principles of learning at brilliant.org is effective learning is active. And that makes a lot of sense because we do learn a lot of new things in passive ways. Watching YouTube videos, for example, which is great and it's something I do all the time, but that gets you to a certain level, and that's where Brilliant picks it up. Don't learn by watching, but learn by actually doing. And you can get started right now by signing up for free at brilliant.org/David Pakman, and the first 200 people who visit brilliant.org/David Pakman will get 20% off an annual premium membership. That's brilliant.org/David Pakman.